guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So as you can see from the title, today's reading is going to be all about healing. We're going to see which part of you is wanting to be healed right now and why. And we're also going to see how you can go about this healing and how your life is going to change once this healing has taken place. And throughout this reading, I'm hoping that we will be acquainted with your shadow self or a certain aspect of your shadow self. When we talk about the shadow self, this is basically an aspect of you such as a need, a desire, a way of expressing yourself that has been suppressed or that has been sort of cast away. And this is usually because at some point in our life we learned that this was bad or this was shameful and it needed to be hidden, whether that was because of something that the adults in your life said to you when you were a child, the way they treated you, whether that's because of societal norms and expectations. For one reason or another, you felt that I should be ashamed of this part of me and I need to hide it. And so in that sense, it's cast into the shadows, but it can never really go away. And when we talk about shadow work, this is not about eradicating that part of you or banishing it even further. It's actually about bringing it to the light, acknowledging it, becoming aware of it, and creating space for it to exist. Shadow work is all about embracing the totality of ourselves, both the light and the dark. So I'm hoping that we'll get to see in this reading which part of your shadow self wants to come forward and make itself known to you, because often we are not really aware of this part of ourselves unless you guys have been doing shadow work. Maybe you will be familiar with it already, but I kind of wanted to add that element of shadow work and your shadow self into this reading. Anyway, so I think I've rambled for long enough. There are 4 readings for you guys to choose from today, so I'm going to show you each of the crystals one by one, and then please pick whichever one you feel drawn to the most. Number 1 is Muscovite with Lepidolite. Number 2 is Snowflake Obsidian. Number 3 is White Moonstone. And number 4 is Smoky Quartz. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number ones, so if you guys chose the Muscovite with Lepidolite, this is going to be a reading all about your healing. So the way this reading is going to go is, first I want to see what aspect of you is wanting to be healed right now, and then we will see why this is coming up. We'll see how you can heal and how your life is going to be different once this healing has taken place. And then we will close off the reading with some loving and encouraging messages from your higher self. So let's get right into it. The first thing that we're going to look at is which aspect of you is wanting to be healed right now. So first we have the 4 of Wands, 7 of Cups, and 3 of Wands. So interestingly, the 4 of Wands and the 3 of Wands are generally pretty positive cards, but they're coming up for something that needs to be healed. So I'll just go through them in order and see what we can find. Starting over here with the 4 of Wands, this is a card that is about happiness, joy, contentment, celebration. It can be about the successful completion of something and, you know, the feeling of pride and celebration that comes with that. It can also be about our destiny and our calling, like this kind of divine joy. When the 7 of Cups appears next to a card in a reading, it can indicate to me that the energy is a little bit muddled or a little bit confused, or you're struggling to find it. So this could be showing that there's a part of you that struggles to feel the joy and struggles to feel the gratitude when it's like, you know, in that moment you should be feeling it, or like, this is a moment where I'm supposed to feel happy and joyful and celebrating myself, but I can't seem to find it. Or I can't seem to find that feeling of gratitude that I know I'm supposed to have in this situation. Going over to the Three of Wands, this is a card that shows a bright, promising future. It shows expansion, going bigger, going farther. So when I put all of these together, this could be something like, for example, when you receive a blessing, you know that you're supposed to feel happy and celebrate that, but somehow it feels like it's not enough. Somehow you feel like you were supposed to get more, or that there's still something that is missing. Or in a moment of your accomplishment, in a moment of your victory, instead of feeling proud of yourself and feeling happy of what you did accomplish, it's like there's this feeling of I should have done more, or now I have to focus on the next thing and I have to outdo myself and I have to prove that I'm still growing and I'm still going even farther. This card that talks about expansion, continuing to grow, continuing to go to broader horizons, it's making me think that maybe there's this part of you guys that can never be satisfied. You could never be truly proud of yourself or truly grateful and feel like I have enough, I have done enough. And there is kind of this feeling of like always needing to prove yourself or prove to other people like I still got it, I'm still growing. This isn't the last of what you will see me doing. That feeling of like I can never be enough or nothing is never enough. That's kind of what I'm getting from all three of these cards together. There is another way I could interpret this. If I think of the Four of Wands in the sense of your calling and your destiny, with the Seven of Cups kind of muddling it, there could be a feeling of sometimes you guys are confused about what your purpose is, or you're confused about what it is that you really want and what will truly make you happy. And maybe that ties into the previous interpretation where I'm supposed to be happy, but I don't feel it. And what is it that is truly going to bring me happiness? Like if I've done all these things that are supposed to make me happy and it's not working, where does my true happiness lie? It's like you can't find it, or you're confused about that. And so you may be in a place where you're waiting for it to make itself known to you. You're waiting for it to come to you, because another meaning of the Three of Wands is like waiting for your ships to come in, so to speak, waiting for your rewards or your blessings to come in, so to speak. So it's like you're confused about what to do to make you feel this happiness and to make you feel this joy. And so you're constantly in this state of like waiting for it to come to you, not knowing how to step forward and take action towards it, because you don't even know where you're supposed to go. So you're just hoping that this ship will come in and that it will show you the way to your true happiness. So there's a feeling of confusion, there's a feeling of being lost, maybe a feeling of dissatisfaction. This is what I'm seeing here so far. So let's move on to the next few cards and we'll see why this is coming up. Why do you feel this way? First, we have the Chariot. This is the King of Pentacles. And Ten of Wands. Okay, so we have Cancer energy here. We also have Earth sign energy here, just in case that is relevant to you guys. Looking at these three cards together, I can definitely see how this energy would be representing something that is quite prevalent in society. So I think I'll speak about that interpretation first. And then I'll talk more about how this could be a more personal thing in your life. But the Chariot is about very fast motion, very fast progress, always gaining momentum, always going farther. And this is making me think of our society that is very fast paced, very busy, very go, 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 and especially accompanied with the King of Pentacles. You know, this is the king of money. This is the king of material things. I think in our society, there is a heavy focus on that. And a lot of our goals that are recognized are those that have to do with money, are those that have to do with our career and our material possessions. Like the person who has the best job and the person who has a lot of money and the nice house, all of these things to show for their efforts. That's the person that we look at and say like, wow, they've really done something with their lives, or they're really successful, they're really fulfilled, they're really worthy. And they're sort of like higher up in the ranks, I guess you could say. We see them as more worthy or more valuable. There's like a huge fixation on the material side of things in our society, and we're always go, 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 and we're always rushing forward to chase that and to move on to the next bigger thing. And it's no surprise to me that the 10 of Wands is here as well. This is a card that shows a lot of hard work, a lot of responsibilities, but to the point where it is overbearing. Like you're overworked, you're overstressed, you have this huge burden on you to fulfill all of these responsibilities. This is making me think of even like hustle culture. We're always feeling this pressure that we have to run faster and cover larger distances and make more money and have more stuff. And it's like this insatiable, it's like the rat race. Nothing is ever enough. And so we're feeling so overworked. So I can definitely see how this is a societal thing that you guys may have kind of unconsciously fallen into the trap, even if you know deep down that it's not right. It's like you can't help but engage in it. You can't help but feel pulled into the race. Now, this could be a more personal thing, like I mentioned earlier, and it's interesting that we do have Cancer energy here, because this can be a representation of the mother, and then we have the King of Pentacles here, which can be a representation of the father. It doesn't mean that it literally has to be your mother and father. It can be any parental figure, any guardian that you guys had, any adult figure who was influential in your childhood. But that may have been something that was really highly valued in your childhood. Like maybe you had parents or adult figures in your life who were very concerned with like always overachieving, always, finding the next goal, always gaining more. There could even be something here about status with this King of Pentacles. Like status was very important. Proving yourself to other people was very important. There could have been a strong emphasis on like grades, getting good grades and being at the top of your class, or like doing a bunch of extracurricular stuff and like showing off that you're so busy and you're doing all of these things. And what's really interesting to me is that this King of Pentacles is sleeping. So there's almost this feeling to me like you were slept on, or you weren't noticed, you weren't given attention unless you proved that you had made this achievement, or you proved that you were working very, very hard. Maybe it was like when you wanted to just play, when you wanted to just be yourself, you didn't really get the attention. But when it was like, look, I got an A+ on my report card, that's when the cat wakes up, and that's when the cat, pays attention to you. So internally, it's like, if I want to receive validation or love, or if I want to be seen, I have to always be outdoing myself and moving on to the next thing. And so even into your adulthood, it's like, I have to keep achieving higher. I have to keep aiming higher and reaching more goals, or else this cat is not going to wake up and play with me. Like I have to keep impressing people and proving myself to people. This is how I'm going to receive love. This is how I'm going to have connection in my life. It feels like this pressure. And I'm even thinking the interpretation up here about not being sure about what it is that you really want in life and what's really going to make you happy. It may be because for so long you had to set that aside, and your happiness had to be their happiness. Your happiness had to be making the adults in your life proud. Your happiness had to be adhering to the societal expectations, because there was no time for what made you really happy. Some of you guys really may have lost like your true source of joy. But I feel for others of you, you still remember. Like, you remember what it is that makes you really happy. You remember what it is that you really want to do. But you're scared to awaken that again. You're scared to move towards it again because maybe it wouldn't be accepted. And so you tell yourself, like, I don't know what it is that I want to do. I don't know what it is that's going to make me happy. But you really know. You remember. I think that's even your shadow self. I wanted to uncover the shadow self in this reading, and I think your shadow self is the you who does what they love, the you who pursues what they truly love, the you who spends their days expressing themselves in the way that they want to and doing things that make them actually happy. You have like banished that version of you who just wants to enjoy themselves and wants to live a life that makes them happy, not anybody else, because that's bad, that's shameful, that's not going to get you love, that's not going to get you validation. We have to be the productive member of society who is meeting others' expectations. And it's interesting because I feel like when we talk about our shadow self or our dark side, we think of something that's actually bad or evil, but it's not the case. It's an aspect of ourselves that we've had to banish for survival. I feel like your shadow self does not care, does not care about being productive, does not care about reaching goals, does not care about proving themselves. They could not care less about how far they go or what progress they make. Your shadow self wants to do things purely for pleasure. Your shadow self just wants to have fun and be happy. And I think the version of you in the light is afraid of that because, oh my gosh, we'll be seen as lazy. We won't be seen as successful. We won't be seen as valuable. We'll be seen as selfish or careless. Lazy is a big one though. Your shadow self just wants to spend its days lying around doing things when it feels like doing it, when they feel like doing it, I should say. And just enjoying the day. That's your shadow self. Okay, so let's look at the next cards now and see how we can embrace this shadow self and how we can heal this pressure that you guys have been feeling. I feel like this is just awful. It's like constant pressure to keep going and keep doing more. We have the Queen of Cups. Very interesting, as it's like, I feel like it's a direct contrast to the King of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles. And the Two of Swords. All right, so yeah, it's so interesting. I feel like these are really providing contrast to each other. Here we see masculine side, here we see the feminine side, which is more free, which is more flexible, which is more go with the flow. And then we also have Pentacles and Cups, which provide contrast, because Pentacles is very much about the tangible and the material and the structured side of things, whereas Cups is that water energy. It doesn't have a shape. It just flows freely. So it's our emotions, it's our heart, it's our intuition, it's our spirituality. So it looks like your higher self wants you to get more in touch with your feminine side, with your divine feminine energy, and also wants you to get more in touch with your emotional and spiritual and flowy side. To not be put in such a rigid structure, but to just allow yourself to express yourself freely. It's really interesting that we have the Queen of Cups here as well, because in the traditional imagery, the cup that the queen holds is actually closed. It has a lid on it. So it's like your true heart and your true emotions are being concealed so that you can keep living in this society and keep living as this version of yourself. You've put like a lid on your heart, and it's almost like you can't access it, or you haven't accessed it in a long time. And this card is calling you to put your ear to your heart, much like you might put your ear to a shell so that you can hear the ocean. Your higher self wants you to hear your heart and listen to your heart again and validate your own emotions. As you're going through your day, I know listen to your heart sounds like very vague, so to explain it in a more concrete way, as you're going through your day, literally listen to what your heart is saying without dismissing it. So if you are about to do a task and you have this inner voice like, oh, I don't want to do this, allow that to be heard and sit with it and say, oh, you don't want to do this today? And ask it why, and ask it what it would rather do. I feel like you guys are so used to pushing that aside. Like as soon as that I don't want to do this comes up, you're like, nope, we're doing it. We have to do it. Because you're just so trained to think of that voice as invalid. Oh, that's just chatter. That's just me being lazy. Never mind. We're being motivated. We're staying on track and we're doing it. But this Queen of Cups wants you to listen to that voice and say, why don't you want to do this? Clearly, there's something about this task. There's something about my day-to-day life that you don't like. And that's valid, and I want to hear what you have to say. What is it about this task that you don't like? What is it about my routine that you don't like? And what would you rather be doing? Because you're allowed to do what you want to be doing. And over time, it's like you've suppressed that. You feel like you can't. Your higher self wants to remind you that because I want to and because I feel like it are valid reasons. And because I don't want to, because I don't feel like it, are also valid reasons. You're allowed to do whatever you feel like. You don't have to suppress that and say, no, this is what we're doing because that's what the schedule says, because that's what everybody else says. Do what you feel like. Allow yourself to be guided through your day by your feelings. And if you have some commitment, like some contract or some agreement in place where you have to be suppressing your feelings to get through the day, maybe it's time to put different systems in place. Maybe it's time to find a new agreement, a new commitment elsewhere that is more suited to your own feelings. And it's like you have in your head, like, what a silly thing to base my life off of, or to base my days off of. My feelings. No, I have to stick to the schedule. I have to stick to the agreement. But you can move away from that. You can create something new. Your higher self wants you to live a life that is in alignment with how you feel and do things because you feel like it. That's what your shadow self wants to do as well. Do things just because you want to. Do things just because you feel like it, because that is a good enough reason. It's like you guys feel like that's not a good enough reason. It has to be like, because it will advance my life, because it will advance society, because it will make this person happy, because it's what I'm supposed to do. And maybe that's why you have this confusion about what your purpose is, because you're so focused on something from the outside showing you what you're supposed to do. What is it that I'm supposed to do? But it doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within this shell, and you have to press your ear to this shell. What if your purpose is just what you want to do? What makes you happy? You don't have to look for something greater on the outside. I'm really interested in this Three of Pentacles as well, because this is showing me that you guys are not lazy at all. I feel like I picked up earlier in the reading. It's like you guys are afraid of being lazy, or like if you let your shadow self come out, you will end up being lazy. But doing what you want and doing what you feel like does not equate to laziness. And in fact, if you allowed yourself to do the things that bring you joy, to start working on the projects that make you happy, to start pursuing a career, pursuing a path that makes you happy and that you feel like doing, you would actually be very, very productive, very, very hardworking, and very dedicated. It's interesting too, like we have two cards that talk about hard work, but this one is so draining. It's so stressful. And this one has more like enthusiasm, more dedication, more fulfillment. When you switch to doing what you want and doing what you feel like, hard work feels so different. It's not something that drains you anymore. And it's like you've deemed anything other than this lazy. Anything other than being in the rat race. Anything other than continuing to move up and prove yourself. Otherwise, it's lazy. If you spent all day, I don't know, doing crafts, or if you spent all day cooking, baking, if you spent all day making art, if you spent all day writing a blog post about something that you're really interested in, that's work. That's productivity. You're making something, you're expanding. But the version of you in the light, I feel like they would deem it as lazy because it's not the version of productivity that is acceptable. So allowing yourself to do what you like and make what you like, it's so important. And to not see that as laziness. And honestly, who cares if you're being lazy? Who cares if you just want to rest all day? That's valid too. But I'm seeing that you guys are actually very hardworking and motivated and productive people. It's like you don't accept your shadow self's version of productivity or what they want to make. But the more you get back in touch with your heart, slowly but surely teach it that what it has to say is valid and that you will listen to it and you'll make the adjustments in your life so that your heart is happy. It will start to feel good again. I think at first it could feel uncomfortable. You'll feel like you're doing something wrong and you have to get back to work over here, but you'll feel so happy and so fulfilled like this that eventually you won't even want to go back or be able to even recognize why you wanted to be in this life before. The Two of Swords, it's about indecisiveness, being stuck between two paths. I think it's pretty self-explanatory as we've seen this dichotomy here. But I feel like this is going to put an end to that indecisiveness. This is going to put an end to that, what is my purpose? What do I truly want to do? Because you're rediscovering your joy here. And like I said, for some of you, maybe it's really lost, like you lost what joy is to you and you'll be finding it again. But for others of you, I feel like deep down you really know, and it's just a matter of giving yourself permission to do it. All right, so let's look at the last few cards now and see in what ways your life is going to change once this healing takes place. So we have the Hanged Man, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Hierophant. There we go. Okay, so in addition to Cancer energy, now we have Pisces energy as well as Taurus, in case that is significant to you guys. With the Hanged Man here, this is a card about finding a new perspective. The number 12 on this card adds up to 3, which can talk about expansion, and especially in the context of this card, I think of it as like spiritual expansion. Yeah, basically you're gaining a new perspective. And there's the feeling of stillness with this card because of course he's hanging, and it's like, I am okay with where I am right now and I don't need to go anywhere. And I feel such a serenity with this card because I feel like you guys have been like rushing to get somewhere for so long. I have this image of you guys like you're just sitting down or lying down or whatever, but it's like your heart is racing because mentally or emotionally you feel like you're stressing and rushing to get somewhere. But this is complete stillness. This is complete serenity. I am where I am and I am who I am. And that's perfect. I don't need to change anything. I don't need to go anywhere. This is like pure presence. This is peace. I just want to sit with that. The Wheel of Fortune is amazing as well, because I think of this card as like the universe is responding to you in a favorable way. When you make the shift and you start living a life based on how you feel and pursuing things based on what you want, without any pressure, without any expectation, and every day you're not pursuing status, you're not pursuing success, you're not pursuing numbers, you're just pursuing joy and fulfillment. As you start to pursue those things, the universe is going to observe, okay, so we've changed course now, and is going to meet you there, and is going to start bringing you blessings there. The universe is responding to you and favoring you. I feel that for many of you, you've maybe been in a situation where you're putting in efforts, but you're not getting the results that you want. And once you switch to something that you love, and once you switch to something that makes you passionate, it's kind of ironic, because it's like when you were just pursuing the success, when you were just pursuing the rewards, it was like things weren't moving. But once you change your approach and you start to pursue joy and happiness, that's when the rewards start to come in. And it's probably because you can work so hard and you can go so far just fueled by joy. You're not burning out, you're not getting stressed, and so the work comes to you easily. And the universe is going to reward you for choosing this path. And once you switch over, the rewards are coming in so quick. This is also a feeling of gaining momentum, but it's like you're riding a wave. You caught the wave from the universe, and you're going to be taken very far with the push, with the energy from the universe, not by overexerting yourself. It's like you're getting in the flow. That's what I want to say. Sorry, I feel like that explanation might have been a little bit messy, but you're getting in the flow. So you can be taken so far because you're fueled by your heart, and that's like the strongest fuel. You're fueled by your heart, and you're fueled by your divine support. And then finally here we have the Hierophant. This is really you guys being in alignment with your higher self, being in alignment with your spirit, and also committing to yourself. I feel commitment from this card. I love how this being has their hand on their heart, and there's like the shining star, and then there's the shining star in the sky. It's like you're looking up into the heavens and you're recognizing that piece of it within you. You're recognizing that you are divine. So there's no more judgment here. Yeah, you guys are definitely embracing your shadow self and bringing it to light. There's no more casting aspects of yourself and into the dark. There's no more banishing them, because you realize you are divine. There is nothing in you that needs to be fixed or needs to be changed or needs to be punished. You're honoring your divinity. You're honoring your uniqueness. That's your divine gift. Okay, so just before you finish this reading, I want to take a couple of the Soul Whispers Oracle cards, and these are just going to be final messages from your higher self. I'm kind of worried that these are gonna, I thought it was gonna go, knock the cards everywhere, but that was pretty nice. I'm gonna take 2 of them, and then we will read them from the guidebook. These are gonna be like letters from your higher self. The first one is, you are a child of the universe. What an honor it is to be a part of something so divine. It's like exactly what we're talking about here. The divine is within you. So this is number 28. The number 28 or the number 1 might be significant to you guys. Dear human, you are an extension of higher consciousness, a part of something bigger than yourself. Within you is universal energy, the source of life, the unexplainable force that spins planets and fuels suns. Within you is sacred knowledge of all that has ever existed and all that will ever exist, divine wisdom that contains all answers, higher self. I just think it fits so well with this imagery of this being seeing the divine in the sky and seeing it within their heart. It's so beautiful. And the next one is, see, with this one, I felt the number 1 might be significant, and then you guys got the number 11 here. So this one says, you are safe to make mistakes. You are safe to be imperfect. You are safe. I'm feeling like this one might really speak to your inner child. You're safe to make mistakes. You're safe to be imperfect. You are safe. So this one is number 11. Dear human, don't be afraid to be wrong. Everything is perfect in this universe. Mistakes are perfect. Mistakes are a vital part of growth. Mistakes make us wiser and stronger. Strive to be and do your best, but do not let your fear of mistakes stop you. Higher self. Okay, so those are all the messages that I have for you guys today. So I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick-a cards where you get to choose the topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number 2s, so if you guys chose the Snowflake Obsidian, this is going to be your reading all about your healing. So the way this reading will go is, first we will take a look at what part of you is wanting to be healed right now. We will see why, so why is this coming up? Why is this wound here? Then we're going to see how you can heal it and in what ways your life is going to change once this healing has taken place. And then we will finish off the reading just by getting a couple loving and encouraging messages from your higher self. So let's get right into it, starting with what aspect of you is wanting to be healed right now. So the first card that we have is the Queen of Swords. Then we have Judgment. Is she gonna focus? There we go. Judgment and the Fool. All right, so I'm gonna start over here with the Queen of Swords. I believe that this is representing you. The first thing I want to tell you guys is that you are incredibly intelligent and capable. You have a very good head on your shoulders, and you are meant to do amazing things in this lifetime. In fact, many of you may be meant to be a leader in some way, whether that's a leader through your direction, through your management, or just a leader by example. Like, people look at you and they aspire to be like you. I do sense that you have many admirers. I do sense that people look up to you. But in some ways you might be kind of intimidating to people. Maybe people feel like they cannot approach you. Maybe they feel that you are out of their league in some way. Maybe you have that kind of resting face, if you know what I mean. But there could be something about you where it's like people really, really look up to you, but at the same time they're intimidated, or they're afraid to approach you, or they're not sure if you feel the same way about them as they do about you. But I feel like you guys have a lot of admirers and you are very highly respected. There is something of a duality here with the artwork on this deck in particular. And what I'm feeling is that the Queen of Swords, she can tend to be like emotionally detached or even come across as cold in some ways. And so I'm feeling that there may be this duality in you guys where it's like you want connection, you want to be connected to others, you crave it, but at the same time, you feel this distance to other people. You feel like you can't relate to people. You can't understand where people are coming from. And it's like you want to get close to people, but then you get to know them and you're like, I don't vibe with this, and then you want to distance yourself from them. With these major arcana here, Judgment and the Fool, this could be like a very literal interpretation where you guys might be kind of judgmental of people, and honestly, there's no shame in that. Like, every human judges other humans. But the idea that I'm getting in my head is like, let's say, for example, you guys want to find a significant other. So you want that connection. So maybe you download a dating app or something, you're talking to a bunch of people, but it's like once you get to talking to them, you're like, no, they're too this, they're too that. Or you meet them and you're not really feeling it and you just drop it. Or you want to make friends, so you go to an event, you go to a party, you go to a meetup, and then you meet people and you're like, nah, I'm not really vibing with them. I don't want to continue this further. And you just walk away. So there's this duality within you, and there's something that can't be fulfilled. I'm thinking of the Fool as a walking away in this case. This is like moving on from something. This is, starting fresh, going back to a clean slate. So maybe this is showing you guys like you go out on your quest to meet people and to connect. It doesn't really work out. And then you're back to the drawing board. And I feel like there may be even this kind of turmoil within you guys where it's like, is there something wrong with me? Am I doing something wrong? Am I sabotaging the connections? Are my standards too high? Should I be giving this more of a chance? Should I be like making space for these people even if I'm not vibing with them? Like, am I being too picky or too strict? Or am I supposed to wait for the universe to bring my perfect match? So there could be a little bit of confusion or a bit of stress there. And so what I'm seeing for you guys is that it is this confusion, or it's this inner turmoil that wants to be healed. Your shadow self wants peace, wants to feel peace and confidence in the way you approach connections. Your shadow self does not want to feel like you're doing something wrong in the way you approach connections, and wants you to trust your judgment. So it looks like this is what we're dealing with here for this reading. I'm going to move on now to see why this is showing up. So we will take the next 3 cards for you. This is the Page of Swords. Then we have the Hermit. And then the Ace of Wands. All right, so with the Page of Swords here, it's interesting because here you guys came through as the Queen of Swords, and now we're seeing the Page of Swords. I was gonna say I'm thinking of this page as a literal child. You guys could be an air sign, you don't have to be, but I'm just noticing that you're being portrayed as a swords person. We also have Virgo energy here with the Hermit. But yes, this is like when the Queen of Swords was a child, I'm thinking. This Page of Swords is representing you as a child. So everything that I said about you guys, like very intelligent, very capable, very good head on your shoulders, I feel like this has applied to you guys since you were small. I think that you were a very intelligent child, a very talented child, and almost like wise beyond your years. The Hermit card being the number 9, I am getting the sense that you guys are a quite old or quite advanced soul. And maybe since you were very little, you felt kind of different or kind of isolated from people. Now, for some of you, I'm actually feeling that this was from your own volition, like you kind of stayed away from the crowds or stayed out of the group because you're very happy like being on your own, doing activities on your own, playing games on your own, reading, creating on your own, whatever it was, because you had such a vivid inner world, you had such a sharp mind and such a beautiful imagination that you can keep yourself entertained. And honestly, I feel like many people around you maybe just weren't on your level in the sense of how broad your mind is or how sharp you are, just where you're vibing at, if you know what I mean. this might have been the case from a very young age. And the Hermit, it is literally about being alone, or like isolation, solitude, reflecting, being in your own inner world. And the Page of Swords is a very sharp and curious and intellectual, creative, imaginative child. So like I said, I feel like you guys were very happy off in your own world, daydreaming and creating for yourself, and maybe weren't so concerned with like connecting or playing with others. And it's interesting, both the Page of Swords and this Ace of Wands that we have here, these are cards that I personally relate to your higher self. That's just something that I've picked up on personally as I interpret cards, that the Page of Swords can indicate your higher self, and the Ace of Wands can indicate a connection with your higher self. I don't know if I'm confident to say like this is your first incarnation on Earth. It's probably not, but maybe it's like one of your first, or you haven't been here in a very long time. Maybe you've been off in another world. It almost feels like you guys are from a very advanced, I don't know what you would call it, species, or a very advanced soul tribe. You kind of feel less familiar or less belonging here on Earth. And when you were very little and you were more connected to that higher self naturally, I feel like you were completely fine with that. Like if you were off doing something on your own, then you didn't sweat it. You just enjoyed yourself. You created your dream world. You kept yourself entertained with your own intellect, and it didn't bother you. But as you got older and the norms or the expectations of Earth were pushed on you, it's like you're supposed to have this big group of friends that you small talk with and go to parties with, or I don't know, you talk about boys or talk about girls with them, and you're supposed to go out and enjoy activities with them, and you're supposed to crush on people and have a significant other. And it's not like you don't want those things for yourself, but I think it's like you feel pressure to connect with everybody, or you feel pressure to belong in this big group, when maybe your shadow self is perfectly fine if you don't. I guess what I want to say is like, it's not that your shadow self doesn't want connection, but your shadow self is fine on their own, and they're fine if they don't connect to everybody. So if your shadow self was let out and you were back in that scenario of downloading a dating app and talking to people, if your shadow self didn't vibe with someone, that would just be it, and it would be fine. I don't really like this person, moving on. And it would be nothing to them. They would understand, like, there's nothing wrong with me if I can't connect to somebody, or there's nothing wrong with me if this person doesn't understand and isn't a match with my inner world. And it wouldn't make them feel lonely. But I feel like as you've adopted the standards or the expectations of this world, it's like, is there something wrong with me that I don't want to connect to this person? Like, I feel like I'm supposed to relate to everybody, and I'm supposed to be extroverted and social and have all these friends and be happy with everybody. Your shadow self is saying, like, it's okay to have a smaller circle. It's even okay to be alone. It's okay to not get everybody. I think your shadow self is saying that your people will come. The people that you resonate with will come, and there's no need to put this pressure on yourself that you need to connect with the people who are in front of you right now. And there's no need to feel judgmental either. Even if you're like, this person is, even I sound judgmental saying it, but even if you're talking to someone and you're like, I feel like this person is kind of annoying, or I feel like this person is not the sharpest tool in the shed, like that's okay. You don't have to like everybody, you don't have to vibe with everybody, and it's okay to wait for your perfect match, wait for your people. Because there is something very special about you. Like, you're not of this world, and you're not for everybody, and that's fine. So to put this inner turmoil to peace, or to put this duality, this tug of war to rest, I would say No, there is nothing wrong with you guys. You don't need to settle. You're allowed to cut off a connection or walk away from something if it's not resonating with you, that doesn't make you picky, that doesn't make you stuck up, that doesn't make you too harsh. Because your shadow self understands. In case you haven't noticed, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in, and I don't want to fit in. Sorry. But it's like that kind of thing. Yeah, to just embrace this hermit self like you did when you were younger. It's fine. I can kind of relate to this because I always felt like I needed to have a group of friends and be tagging all of my inside jokes and going to parties, and it was completely something that I adopted because I felt like that's what people do. And I actually became an ENFP for a while. It was crazy. I actually convinced myself I was an extrovert and was pursuing a life like that, but I was not happy. And then I went back to my INFJ self. Sorry. Anyway, so let's move on now. We're going to see how you can heal this. We have the moon, 5 of Pentacles, and the Magician. Yeah, there's a fear of loneliness here for sure. The moon is about our hidden fears or our hidden insecurities. It can often speak about, when it comes to relationships and connections, like a worry about not being good enough or a worry of being left behind, especially when it's coming out with the 5 of Pentacles, because this is a card about lack, loneliness, being left out. Putting these together, it's like a fear of that or an insecurity about that. There may have been some of you who at one point, you felt very okay with yourself, you felt very confident in yourself, and then maybe there could be some of you who started to be teased for who you are. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be malicious, but even just growing up, people always asking you, why are you so quiet? Why aren't you smiling? Why aren't you talking? What are you thinking about? Are you okay? You look sad. And it's chill, I'm just daydreaming. I'm just off in my head. But even just people prodding you all the time of why are you like that? Why are you like that? It makes you feel like there is something wrong with you. So that could have been happening to you guys if you guys were very smart or you excelled in your classes growing up. You could have definitely been teased for that, or just people calling you a nerd or people calling you a show off or whatever it is. And these things make you feel isolated. When you were this young person who was connected to your soul, it's you basked in your inner world, you loved it, but then people in the world made you feel like it was weird. And so more and more, the feeling of isolating or the feeling of being disconnected, it became something that caused you pain. And then you have to prove no, I can connect to people, I can be out and extroverted and be friends with everybody. And it's growing up, I feel you convince yourself that was what you really want. You want to be this outgoing, connected to everybody, likes everybody type of person. But what you guys don't see is that a lot of people will actually love you and respect you as you are, or they already do. That was the very first message I picked up on for you guys. You don't have to be this smiley, I'm super nice and friendly and extending to everybody. Being your cool self and keeping to yourself and doing your own thing, a lot of people find that very, very cool. You guys can keep your resting bitch face. That was what I was gonna say in the beginning. You can keep your resting bitch face, you can keep in your world. A lot of people respect that and find it super cool. And a lot of people like you for it and want to get to know you more. You guys are afraid it's going to isolate you, but I feel a lot of people respect it and think it's just freaking cool. I cannot tell if this candle is out or if the flame, no, the flame is just really, really small. Yeah, but I feel like you guys, a lot of your desire to connect to everybody and to like everybody and have like a lot of people in your life, I feel like it doesn't come from a natural desire, but it's more of a fear of being alone. That's what I see here with the moon and with the Five of Pentacles. It's like, if I don't do this, if I don't extend myself like this, then I'm not going to find connections, or people aren't going to like me for who I truly am. So I have to be this like bubbly and extroverted, outgoing person. And you don't have to. You can be exactly yourself. You can be exactly this Queen of Swords. The Magician, it is making me think of your individuality. It's the number 1 card in the deck. It's like your most pure expression. And the Magician tells us that we have everything we need to get what we want. So if you want meaningful connections, you already have everything that you need to create those in your life. You don't have to change yourself. You don't have to put on a persona. Just being you is enough, and you will not be alone. Being exactly who you are, that's how you're going to find your tribe. That's how you're going to find your soul family. That's how you're going to find your soul mate. You are not going to find these people by forcing yourself to put yourself out there, or by forcing yourself to connect and move connections forward even when you're not feeling it. You're going to find them when you're being your most authentic self, when you let your shadow self come back out. This dreamy, maybe kind of eccentric, maybe kind of disconnected, but very intelligent child that is still within you. This very advanced soul that is within you. When you let this person out, when you let this version of you out, not only are you going to find your soulmates, I think you're also going to create some amazing things, and you're going to give birth to some amazing ideas. And again, I was picking up on that right from the start of this reading, that you guys are meant to lead and be like a visionary and do amazing things in this life. When you try to be different, or when you try to change yourself, you're doing a disservice to yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. There's everything right with you. Ooh, I feel excited for you guys. Like I can't wait for you to just embrace yourself and find your tribe. And remember, it will not feel forced. You will never have to put yourself out there when you don't want to. You will never have to put on a fake face when you don't want to. You will never have to give someone or something a chance when you don't want to. You don't have to settle like that. It will come naturally. So the last 3 cards are going to show us in what ways your life will change when you embrace your shadow self. Queen of Pentacles. Yes. And 3 of Cups. And the Lovers. Yeah, I'm not surprised that these cards are coming out. The 3 of Cups and the Lovers are literally about happy connections and happy relationships. So really, I couldn't think of better cards to finish off this reading and to illustrate what I've been saying throughout this whole thing. I will start over here with the Queen of Pentacles. You're still a queen. You were a queen before the healing, and you will be a queen after the healing. But look, there's like, we're going from a duality, from feeling split or feeling confused, to a whole. You're becoming a whole person. You've embraced yourself. The fruit on this person's head, it makes me think of abundance, which is a really nice contrast to the 5 of Pentacles. Like, this is a card about lack, but fruit is a symbol of abundance, of plenty, of having everything that you need. And it makes me think like this is your crown. So it's like you are honoring yourself. You are treasuring yourself. The Queen of Pentacles is a card that really makes me think of self-worth, feeling very confident and feeling like you deserve to be here. Like, I deserve to be here as I am. And maybe this is your soul feeling like I have a place on this earth, even if I'm not like the other earthlings. I deserve to be here, and I'm sure of my place here. And I know that I deserve the best out of life. I deserve the best out of my connections, and I'm not going to settle. I'm going to find connections that are a perfect match to me as I truly am. And then, yes, these are the very straightforward ones. This Three of Cups and the Lovers, they're both talking about happy connections. It's interesting because with the Three of Cups, I would think of this more as like a friendship situation. And with the Lovers, obviously, I would think of it as more of a romantic situation. So it could be that you guys have both of these coming to you, or these relationships are deepening for you, are moving to the next level. But I see that you're going to be incredibly happy and incredibly valued in both your friendships and your relationships. This is so sweet. And I really like that this is a moon person again, because here we saw that this moon person was afraid of being alone, and they were worried, they were stressing out about it. But then, without changing, still the moon person, somebody has come to sweep them off their feet. So they stayed exactly as they are, and they can still be treasured, and they can still find their love. So your soulmates are coming to you, whether that is your romantic soulmate is coming to you, your platonic soulmates are coming to you, or both. And for many of you, I think that it is both. And then with the Three of Cups, there's this feeling of lightheartedness. To me, there's a feeling of things coming naturally. And interestingly, an interpretation that I've just personally found with the Three of Cups a lot is like a connection where all parties are respecting each other's freedom and respecting each other's individuality. So I definitely think with these connections, it's like you don't have to think so much about what you're doing. Like, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I continue this or not? Should I give them a chance or not? It's just a no-brainer. I love this person. I love being around them, and I want to spend more time with them. It feels like you're just kids playing together, and the hours go by and you just lose track of time. You get so, you get so absorbed in each other's inner world. It's so rich and interesting and beautiful. You're sharing your ideas and your dreams with each other. There's no, what is it called? Formalities or niceties or small talk. I'm not really sure what I'm trying to say, but there's none of that. You're just diving into each other's worlds, and you just get each other. These are the type of connections that are coming for you guys. And I knew it. If you embrace your shadow self, and you embrace this beautiful inner world of yours, and you don't like overextend yourself to connect with everybody, you will find your tight-knit circle. Okay, so just before we finish off the reading, we're going to move on to the messages from your higher self. So I'm going to take a couple of cards from the Soul Whispers Oracle deck, and I'm going to read these from the guidebook as well, so we can see what messages your higher self has for you. I was going to take two, but you guys got three. There are three that came out for you. So it looks like your higher self actually has a lot to say, which makes sense because they're represented by the Page of Swords. So very talkative, very opinionated, very smart. And they have a lot to say. So let's take a look at these one by one. The first one is number 3. So this could be a significant number to you guys. It says, many things had to align for you to be here. The fact that you are on this earth right now is an utter miracle. This reminds me of that message of like, I deserve to be on this earth. I belong on this earth. I think we were talking about it earlier in the reading, where maybe your soul doesn't feel very familiar on this earth, but your soul chose this earth for a reason. Your soul belongs here for this time, and your soul deserves to be here just as much as anybody else. It's a miracle that you're here. I know sometimes we can feel kind of sick of life and sick of the world, and like, why did I choose to incarnate here? But I think your higher self is asking you to stop, smell the roses, look at the flowers, look at this beautiful planet, and think like, it's such a miracle that I'm here. Just like this card says, so many things had to align for you to be here. The fact that you're here looking at this flower and that you can see all the beautiful intricacies of it, it is a miracle. You're on this tiny little speck of dust floating in a void. So whenever things are getting stressful for you guys, just remember this truth. So number 3, the letter says, "Dear human, everything that happened before you were born happened so you could be born. Everything had to align completely perfectly for your great-grandparents to meet, then your grandparents, then your parents. Seemingly random chains of events brought you here, to this earth. What a privilege it is to be alive." Higher self. It's funny because I see many messages or comments from starseeds, for example, or just from older souls, and they often feel like, oh, this is the last time I'm coming here. Why did I want to come here? Kind of talking shit about Earth, if I'm being blunt. And I honestly, sometimes I feel like that comes from the ego, and it doesn't really come from our soul, because of course, our soul chose to be here. There's a reason our soul wanted to come here, and our soul wanted to enjoy our life here. So maybe your higher self, maybe this is just for some of you, but maybe your higher self is asking you not to be so cynical, or to feel like it was a mistake that you came on this earth, and to remind you that there is a lot of beauty to be experienced here. And you know, like, I chose this place for expansion. I chose this place because I saw beauty in it, and I saw the potential for joy in it. So don't be so quick to knock Earth. Okay. The next one, this happened in pile 1 as well, where it's the same number coming up, because here you have the number 3 and here you have the number 12, which when you reduce this, it would add up to 3. It says, "There is no beginning or no end to growth. You are forever expanding." And look, we see you again, this little crescent moon. Okay, so number 12. "Dear human, you came from infinity, and one day you will return to infinity. The universe is forever expanding. Being a part of it, you must also expand. Reach for the stars. No dream is too big." Higher self. So again, here there is a message that you guys came here for your expansion. You came here to do amazing things. Now that I think about it, the number 3 that we see here, this is about creation and manifestation. And like we were talking about earlier in the reading, as you start to embrace your shadow self more, and you get back to, I love these cards. I love these cards so much together. This is you guys. As you get back to this energy, the things that you will start to create, maybe a lot of you guys were like very, very creative. Well, we already talked about this, but very creative, very imaginative as a child. And your higher self wants you to get back to this, because even as an adult, you can create such cool things, such beautiful things in this world. Your higher self wants you to put your ideas out there. This is how you will expand. And if you do sometimes feel like this earth is kind of dull, or it's not what you wish it was, you can change that. You're the magician. You can manipulate this world. You can mold this world into what you want it to be by expressing yourself and by putting your creations out there. You're here to mold and to change this world. That's your divine gift. And the final one is, "We are all one. Love all creatures, for we all share the same life force." Another card about connections and feeling close to people. I think that you can still feel connected to someone and send love to someone without engaging with them in the 3D, if that makes sense. You can send love and light and healing, and you can acknowledge that we're all one, but it doesn't mean that you have to get along with everyone, or that you have to create space for everyone. But I do believe that you guys will find your perfect matches. And actually with this card, you guys might have a very significant soul connection with an animal in your life. It could be with a certain pet that you guys have, or even just with a certain type of animal. Like you might have a very strong connection to a spirit animal that makes you feel very seen and that makes you feel very empowered. But you're not alone on this earth. Your soulmates are here. So I'll just read the message from this final card. Yeah, you're not alone. That's a very big and important message for you guys. Dear human, see yourself when you look in the eyes of any animal, for the consciousness that stares back at you is your own. The life force that makes their hearts beat is the same life force that makes yours beat. The energy that lights us up makes all of us move, run, jump, feel joy, all came from the same place. Higher self. If you guys are ever feeling lost or lonely in this world, if you're feeling like you're longing for your home, wherever that might be, your higher self is saying, your home is here, your home is everywhere. When you look into the eyes of an animal, for example, as this card was saying, that life force is you, that life force is your home. Home is not a distant, faraway place that you need to long for. It's wherever you are. It's wherever your life force is radiating. It's all around you. You're not alone. You're exactly where you need to be, and you are home. Okay, so those are all the messages I have for you guys, so I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick-a cards where you get to choose the topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number threes, so if you guys chose the white moonstone, this is going to be a reading all about your healing. So the way we're going to do this reading is we will start by seeing what aspect of yourself is wanting to be healed right now. We will take a look at why is it coming up. We'll see how you can heal this aspect of yourself. And then finally, we will see how your life is going to change once this healing has taken place. And then we will close off the reading with some loving and encouraging messages from your higher self. So let's get right into it, starting by taking a look at what aspect of you is wanting to be healed right now. So to start, we have the Four of Pentacles. Next, we have the Four of Cups. And the Two of Wands. All right, so I'll go through these in order, starting with the Four of Pentacles. Some of you guys might know that I sort of have a personal interpretation for this card, which is you are safe, you are protected, you're on the right path, and you're being closely watched over by angels. Now, the more traditional meaning of this card is about holding on to something very tightly. So because what we're seeing here is an aspect of you that wants to be healed, this could be talking about some unhealthy attachments or just the tendency that you guys might have of getting very, very attached to a certain outcome, a certain thing, a certain person, a certain way of things unfolding. And when I think about it, generally we do tend to have these unhealthy attachments when we don't see this truth of being safe, of being watched over, that everything is going to be okay. We generally hold on to things because we are afraid. So this is the first thing that's coming up that wants to be healed. With the Four of Cups next to this, this is interesting because this card, it can talk about a couple things. One of them is it can talk about boredom or dissatisfaction or discontentment. So if I put the meanings of these two cards together, this could be showing me that you guys might have a tendency of holding on to things even when they are not making you happy, even when they're not fulfilling you, like you are bored of them or you're dissatisfied with them, but maybe you hold on out of fear that there is not something else coming for you. The other thing that's interesting about the Four of Cups and the other interpretation of it is not seeing something. So not seeing an opportunity, not seeing a possibility that is right before your eyes. You guys might know in the traditional imagery of the Four of Cups, there's a person sitting on the ground and Spirit's hand is coming in to offer them a cup, but they're not looking up and seeing it. We don't know if they just can't see it or if they're refusing to look at it, but the idea is that they're not seeing this new offer that Spirit is giving them. And so what I'm kind of feeling here is that there are some things you're holding on to that you're not completely happy with. Spirit is trying to give you guys new options, but you're not seeing them. And this will be, of course, up to you guys to determine. Is it that you're not seeing them, or is it that you're not willing to look up at them? You also have the Two of Wands here, which is about new paths, new opportunities, new options. So there's something here with you guys, like not seeing your options or refusing to see the options that are open to you and staying super attached or super clinging on to one thing, or clinging tightly on to whatever is currently in your experience. So it could be a fear that something better isn't going to come along, but it could also be, there's a lot of freedom I feel in the Two of Wands, and there's a feeling of independence and coming into your own. If I can just draw a comparison with the Two of Swords quickly, because the Two of Swords would be like you have two choices, but you feel trapped and you don't know which one is right. The Two of Wands is supposed to be freeing. Like you have more than one option and it's freeing, but I feel like you guys might feel scared when you have options or when you have the freedom to make the decision, because then it's on you to make the right choice. Or like if you pick something and it goes wrong, it's on you. And so maybe many of you guys tend to rely heavily on fate or on what an external source tells you is right to do. Maybe you rely a lot on divination or rely a lot on signs, rely a lot on confirmation, rather than taking the freedom to make the choice yourself. It's like you guys really want to know this is the right thing. This is what the divine or what Spirit has deemed the right thing for me, or this is my fate. Maybe you guys are really worried about moving away from your fate or moving off the wrong path, or very concerned with, if I choose this path, is it going to take me farther from my purpose or farther from my destiny? Like you're afraid of taking that freedom and creating your own life. So there's a few reasons we could end up like this Four of Pentacles, like really strongly clutching on to things, but this is the part of you that wants to be healed. So your higher self is showing me that they want to be freed. They want to feel safe and open to choose a new beginning or to change things up in their life without being afraid that they're going to mess things up or, you know, veer off the correct path and make a mistake. It's a lot of pressure, and it's a lot of fear, and is oppressive the right word? Maybe suppressive is the right word. It's hard to live like this. So we're going to take some more cards now, and we're going to see why this is coming up, or how things happen to get this way. Like, why is this here, basically, is what I want to see in the next part of the reading. So we'll take the next 3 cards now. First, we have the Emperor. And then we have the 9 of Cups. And Justice. Okay, this is interesting. In the previous 2 piles that I did, I could kind of see how societal expectations and societal pressures came into it. For this one, I feel that it is more of a personal thing. I actually want to start by talking about this 9 of Cups and Justice, because this has a pretty specific meaning to me when it comes out together. The Nine of Cups is about our desires, our wishes, what makes us happy, like our idea of happiness. And Justice, being ruled by Libra in the 7th house, is about the other, like anybody who isn't us. And when I put these together, it gives me a message of somebody's happiness or somebody's wishes, somebody's direction in life being determined by the other, being determined by somebody else. So it kind of makes sense if I think back on what we spoke about up here. But to give us a little bit more insight on this, we have the Emperor. The Emperor can symbolize the father, but it can also just be like an authority figure in your life, like somebody who had power over you when you were younger, somebody who had a lot of authority in your life. There could have been, because in his negative expression, he can be like bossy or controlling or domineering. And I feel that maybe in your childhood, there was somebody in your life, like an adult in your life, who had a lot to say about the things that you were to pursue and the things that you were to want for yourself and the direction your life was going to go in. It's interesting to me that the Emperor in this deck, it's like a very small cat compared to the throne that he's on. And the throne represents our position. So this is a very small person taking a very big position. Whoever was being controlling over you, whoever was trying to make decisions in your life, they were a small person, or they were an insecure person. They felt powerless, and so they had to take this big throne to overcompensate. This could also be an indication of, as a child when you were younger, you saw this Emperor person as someone who was like very big and very powerful. Often when we're small children, like we see our parents or the adults in our life as like God, like they are the masters of our life. And we don't see when we're so little, like, oh, this is a small person, this is a scared and insecure person. We see them as like our boss or our ruler. And so at such a young age, maybe you just took what this person said to be correct. Like if this person says, I should do this, then I should do this. If this person says that I should want this, then I should want this. We don't really have that ability to question or to think critically. I think especially at the age that this happened for you guys. And now it's almost like, this is actually an idea that I heard in one of Teal Swan's videos, and it resonated quite a bit with me, that when we are an adult, how we perceive the universe to be, or how we perceive spirit to be, is largely based off of the main authority figure in our life when we were a child. So for example, and what I'm seeing in this reading is like a child who had a very controlling parent, and there was like one right way to do things and you have to do it how I tell you. They would likely grow up to believe that spirit or the universe works this way as well. And this might explain why you guys might have such a strong attachment to the idea of fate. And like, I need to stay on the path of my fate. I need to stay on the right path of what the universe has predestined for me. And when I make decisions, I need to be concerned with, is this going to move me closer to my fate or further away? And sort of averse to taking more freedoms in your path. It's because you were used to this as a child. And so when you grow up, you feel like the universe has one way predetermined for me that I have to do things. And this is the one way that I can be happy. This is the one way that the universe will reward me and favor me. And if I steer off the path, or if I take liberties, then I'm not going to be happy, or I'm going to be punished, or it means that I did something wrong. I feel like this is something that was remembered from childhood because of a very controlling or authoritative person. And so now you've internalized this idea of like, my happiness needs to be approved by somebody else or predetermined by somebody else. And now that somebody else is like spirit or the universe. This is what it looks like to me so far. So what we're going to take a look at in the next part of this reading is how you can go about healing this. So for our next 3 cards, we have the 8 of Swords, Death, and the 7 of Pentacles. All right, so I just want to take a moment to mention the zodiac signs that are present here in case they are relevant to you guys. We have Aries here, we have Scorpio, and we also have, Scorpio here, and we also have Libra. So these could be your signs or a sign of somebody significant in your life. It definitely doesn't have to be, but if you do recognize any of these zodiac signs, this could just be a confirmation for you. It's interesting and pretty telling to me that we have the 8 of Swords here, because the 8 of Swords can represent a feeling of being trapped, a feeling of being stuck or restrained in some way. But the idea is that it's kind of in our head, or it's our own mindset or our own thoughts that are binding us. So the first step to this healing is realizing that the universe or that spirit is not holding you to any standard, is not trying to stick you onto just one path or give you only one way to be happy. We need to forget whatever we have learned and internalize here from our younger years and remember that we are free. We are extensions of the universe, and this means that we are quite literally divine creation and expansion. We are here to create exactly the life that we want, exactly the life that will bring us joy. And Spirit is going to co-create with us and work with us. Spirit is not here to tell us what we can or can't do. Spirit is not here to reward us or punish us. Recognizing this truth is the first step to your healing. Spirit will work with you in whatever way that you want. Interestingly as well, in this Death card, this person to me looks like a child. They are quite small, and this is actually really reminding me of 8 of Swords imagery as well. It almost looks like this person is behind bars. The way the death skeleton is over their face, they're literally seeing through bars. It looks like they are stuck in a cage. And this experience, which it's happened so long ago that it might as well be dead and gone, it's like it's still looming over you. And Spirit is saying it's time to free yourself. It is long overdue to free yourself. Death is about endings. Death is about breaking cycles. It's about moving on from things that don't serve us. Maybe ask yourself, like if we're holding on to something, it's because we think in some way that it's going to serve us. In some way, your ego thinks that holding on tightly to things and not taking chances and not taking new opportunities is going to keep it safe. Okay, going back to the Emperor for a second. The Emperor talks about structure, the Emperor talks about discipline, and the Emperor talks about standing for something. Your shadow self, I feel that your shadow self is more adaptable, more fluid, and more open to whatever happens. Let me just try to shape this for a second, because it came into my mind before like the words to describe it came. You may have been taught that you need to have structure in your life. You need to be disciplined, you need to be persistent and perseverant like this Emperor, and you need to stand for something. And anytime you choose a new path, anytime you adapt or you take some liberties or you go and do something else, it's like you're failing because you're not sticking to the original plan, and that means you're a quitter, or that means you're weak. That means you can't see anything through to the end. That means you don't have a backbone, or you don't stand for anything, or you don't have an identity. Like if you let's say you were studying law at school, and for some time you really felt that that was what you liked and that was what you wanted, and it became a part of your identity. But maybe somewhere down the road you realize that you don't really like law anymore. You can't see yourself being a lawyer or see yourself in that field at all, and you want to try something new. Your shadow self is fine with this, because your shadow self is the one who is free and open and adaptable, just wants to see where the road takes them with no expectation. But that part of you scares you, because if you let that part of you come out, you're just going to lose all direction and you're not going to stick to anything. You're going to end up a nobody. You're going to end up not standing for anything. You're going to end up a quitter. You just give up easily. You're easily distracted. You have all of these negative associations with a more adaptable and free spirit. So you push that part of yourself down. And no, you can't change your path. You can't choose something new. And this can transfer over to relationships. I'm pursuing this person because I felt that we were soulmates. I felt that they were the one, but this connection isn't making me happy anymore. But if I move on, then I'm jumping ship and I'm abandoning the journey to divine union, and I'm not fulfilling our soul mission, so I'm a quitter. It's like you're favoring like being disciplined and being structured and sticking to something over your own freedom and your own happiness. Because freedom equals lack of direction. Freedom equals giving up. It's like that's how you have learned to see it. Yes, so your shadow self is the free one. Your shadow self is I'm just wandering around and I'm gonna see what happens and I don't really care. And that's the aspect of you that is scary, because that's the aspect of you that would have gotten you in trouble. But it's time to lift this off. It's time to free yourself. Death is about letting go, letting a season end that is not helping you grow anymore. This holding on is not helping you grow. It's not helping you expand. It's just keeping you bogged down. There will be a need to maybe revisit your childhood. There will be some painful memories to look back on. And it will take patience with this Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles situations always take a lot of time and a lot of gentle care. You guys might know the traditional imagery of this card is somebody is growing a plant. They've planted seeds and now they're waiting for them to grow, and they have to tend to the plant. They have to water it, they have to prune it, they have to keep pests away, and they have to tailor to the plant in a way that is specific to its own needs. So you will require to be very patient with yourself and always listening to yourself to see what you need and care for yourself in your own unique way. This is going to take time and it won't be linear, but it's like a labor of love to yourself. Slowly but surely, you're taking care of your inner child and letting them know that it's safe to come out, and they will not be judged for wanting to roam free and wanting to do whatever. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to try new things. It's okay to dive into the unknown. It's okay to shed your identity and whatever you were doing and start anew. And it doesn't mean that you're easily distracted or that you're not a hard worker or that you're a quitter. It means that you're a divine creator and you are not here to be in a cage, and you're not here to stay on one path. That's boring. If you were just going to stay on one path and wait for instructions, that's not expansion. You're not here to follow rules. Not your parents' rules, not society's rules, not spirit's rules. Not that spirit has rules, but you may be seeing it that way. You're not here to follow those rules. You're here to be free. And you're here to change over the years and wear many different suits and wear many different hats and be many different people. You should be able to explore and enjoy and fall in love with all sides of yourself. and discover your own happiness, not somebody else's version of it. Your shadow self just wants to be free with no expectation. All right, so in the last 3 cards we're going to look at here, we will see in what ways your life will change after this healing has taken place. So we have the Queen of Wands, which is so freaking fitting because Wands is all about creativity and passion and confidence. So this is definitely you guys taking charge of your life. It's like a complete 180 from what we saw here. The Two of Wands is like your offering from spirit to choose a new path, to explore your options, to create something new. This is where you feel confident and empowered exploring your options. And you don't see it as like one of these options contains my happiness and I have to figure out which one it is. You're like, I have 500 different ways of creating my happiness and I can't wait to explore them. And I can always change my mind whenever I want. I can always go somewhere else whenever I want. I feel like in this new phase of your life, you will not have any attachments, not to one person, not to one place, not to one outcome of your life, not to one path. You will be completely open and grateful because you recognize that wherever you go, Spirit is going to push up flowers there. Wherever you go, there's going to be some beautiful experience for you to have. And you are completely free from whoever this emperor was now, because you're all grown up now. You're a queen now. And you can see how freaking tiny this emperor really was. They had you fooled because they sat in such a big throne and they acted all high and mighty in your life, but they have no power over you anymore. They can't tell you what to do. The next card that we have is the King of Cups. I believe that this is also you, and this is also a really, really nice one to see because the King of Cups is the ruler over his own emotions. He has a very healthy relationship with his heart and with his intuition and with his spirituality. He has mastered this idea of following your heart and going with the flow. And he feels very secure in that. And I also wanted to say the octopus with 8 legs, it's making me think that you guys have many, many different talents. Like if I think of each leg or each hand as a skill, it's like you have many different skills, many different talents, and you guys should try your hand at all of them. And then the next one is the Seven of Wands. So again, like the way we saw with the Seven of Pentacles, that it will take some time to get here. I do think that it will be a challenge to get here, but it's gonna be so worth it. And honestly, no healing journey is easy, but it's always worthwhile, and it always opens the door to so much joy on the other side. This card is it's even about like battles or fighting or challenges. And because this is such a positive energy that we have here with the Queen of Wands and the King of Cups, I feel like this is you guys being bold and being like up for the challenge of creating your life. Like over here, I feel like you were very much playing it safe and you're just going to stay where you are and very much relying on spirit or on the outside sources of like what's best, which way should I go? And now you're not afraid anymore. This is you. I feel like this is you guys saying challenge accepted. Like here I saw maybe you guys were afraid of taking it into your own hands because then it's on you to create the life that will make you happy. But here you're like, heck yeah, it's on me. I'm gonna take that power. I'm gonna take the reins. And if I make a mistake, I make a mistake. And if I wanna change things, I wanna change things. That doesn't scare you anymore. It's all beautiful to you. It's all part of this beautiful experience called life. And I love that you guys are coming out as a king and a queen. Like this is double confirmation of your evolution and that you've really come into your own. You can take care of yourself. You're not this scared child behind bars anymore. You're a grown-ass person in control of your life and in control of your fate. And I also like that we have both masculine and feminine energies here, because this shows that you guys are balanced. You have that feminine energy to create and dream and be open and be flexible. And you have the masculine energy to be decisive and go after what you want. And they're going to complement each other really, really well. So yes, it's a challenge. Healing is a challenge. Life is a challenge. It's hard. Like this Seven of Wands says, it's freaking hard, but you guys are up for it and you wouldn't have it any other way. It's like you would rather have a life that is challenging but rewarding and free than a life that is easy but restrictive and boring. Like you will take that challenge 7 days of the week. Okay, so just to finish off the reading now, we're going to take a couple cards from the Soul Whispers Oracle deck to get some last loving and encouraging messages from your higher self. I have been trying to take 2, but more than 2 might fall out. We'll just take all of them. Anything that wants to come out for you. So there's 1. And okay, yeah, so you guys have 2. And I'm going to be reading these from the guidebook because they're written in the guidebook like letters from your higher self, and I really like that. So yes, okay, so let's take a look at the first one. This is the number 15. So the number 15 or the number 6 could be significant to you guys. Actually, if I can just break down this number because I feel like it's very relevant to you guys. Number 1 is about new beginnings, taking action, taking initiative, taking charge of your life. 5 is about change, growth, development. And when you put them together, you get the number 6, which is about harmony, peace, healing, unconditional love. I really like that for you guys. It's like taking initiative plus change equals harmony and peace in your life. Okay, so this card says, are you treating your inner child with kindness, patience? Kindness, patience, and love. When was the last time you felt childlike wonder and joy? Spirit wants you to look at the world like a canvas for your masterpiece, and not like a minefield where you're gonna get wrecked if you step in the wrong place. This is your world. This is your life. You are free to create. This is your work of art. And this treating your inner child with kindness, patience, and love, it reminds me so much of like the 7 of Pentacles, like the labor of love that I was calling it before, where you're tending to this delicate and beautiful plant that is you and giving it whatever it wants. People like the Emperor don't understand it. Or like the way the Emperor is coming up in this reading. Every plant is different and every plant is unique. And you cannot just say, well, I don't like what that plant needs, so I'm gonna give it something else. I have this soil and that's what I want to grow the plant in, so that's what I'm gonna do. You cannot do that. The plant is not going to grow, and then you cannot get mad at the plant for not thriving in that environment. That's on you. If you didn't give the plant what it needed to thrive in its own unique way, that's on you, Emperor. I don't know who I'm calling out here. Maybe it will be different for everybody, but it's not on you to grow in the wrong soil. You need to be treated with the proper love, with the proper care. And so in a way, it's like maybe you guys will have to parent or reparent yourself. Give yourself the unique love and care that you need. So let's read the letter for number 15. Dear human, we're all just kids in adult bodies. We all just want to be loved and held. We want to do things that are fun and bring us joy. Yes. How tragic it is to deny that childlike part of yourself. How tragic it is to constantly hold back from expressing joy and trying to be as serious as this society demands us to be. Nourish your inner child. Let it feel all the joy and wonder it wants to feel. Go exploring, play with animals, paint just for fun. Life is too short to deny the child within. Higher self. I have nothing to add after that. And your last card is, so 31, this would be the number 4. The number 31 or 4 can be significant for you guys. There's actually a lot of 4 showing up in this reading. 4, 4, 4, 4 if we add up the numbers, and 4 here. There's a lot of 4. So you are safe, you are protected, you're on the right path, nothing can go wrong. And this card says, show up as your highest self. This is really interesting to me because they kind of look like, well, obviously you can't tell because this is from the back, but if I look at the hair, these could be the same people. This long, curly, beautiful hair. It's like when you have the proper loving care, you can show up as your highest self. So this is what you're going to create for yourself. As you start to care for yourself in the unique way that you need, you'll be able to show up as your best self. You will be able to thrive. When you plant yourself in the right soil and you give yourself the right amount of water, the right amount of sunlight, you will thrive. The plant that is you will thrive exactly how it's supposed to. So let's go ahead and read the letter for number 31. Dear human, you know you can be so much more. You know that you are already so much more. You just need to step into that version of yourself. Strive to be your best self in all that you do. That is something you will never regret doing, but will regret not doing. Higher self. Okay, so these are all the messages that I have for you guys today, so I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick-a cards where you get to choose the topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number 4s, so if you guys chose the Smoky Quartz, this is going to be a reading all about your healing. So the way we're going to do this reading is we will start by seeing what aspect of you is wanting to be healed right now. We will take a look at why, so why this is coming up, why this needs to be healed. We will see how you can do this healing, and then we'll see in what ways your life is going to change once this healing has taken place. And then we'll be closing off the reading with some loving and encouraging messages from your higher self. So let's get right into it, starting with what aspect of yourself is wanting to be healed right now. So to start off, we have the 2 of Pentacles. Then we have the Strength card. And finally, we have the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so we have Leo energy here in case that is significant to you guys, and we also have Earth sign energy here. I'm being shown that you guys, group 4, are very hardworking. The Knight of Pentacles is a hardworking person. This is the type of person who buckles down and gets things done. They're consistent, they're productive, they're perseverant. They keep going at it and getting their work done. And then I'm also seeing the 2 of Pentacles here, which makes me think of somebody who is quite busy. So it really looks to me like you guys are working very hard in your life. The 2 of Pentacles shows somebody who is juggling many things or has a lot of different things on their plate. So this could be your job. Some of you guys may even have multiple jobs. You could be studying or working and studying at the same time. You could be juggling many different activities on your own, as well as your personal life. So supporting the people in your life, caring for them, being there for them. Really, your plate is full with all of these things that you're doing. I'm sort of getting the message for you guys that you do a lot for other people. A lot of your time and energy goes into serving other people. And so I guess there is a concern whether you are truly, stopping to check in on yourself and caring for yourself. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of that later on in the reading, but that's just a strong message that came up right now, is that you guys pour a lot of your energy into other people and serving and being there for others. Now, I will say, being busy can definitely be a good thing, like being occupied and having a lot on the go. This can be a very good and healthy thing. It really depends on our reasons for keeping ourselves busy. And when we have this showing up for the aspect of you that wants to be healed, this would lead me to think that maybe we need to take a look and assess why you guys are keeping yourself so busy. When it comes to the Strength card, this is, as you may have guessed, it's about being strong, but there's also an energy in here about controlling our emotions or keeping our very strong and intense emotions at bay. So I'm wondering if there's something here like you are keeping busy in order to ignore or avoid a certain emotion that is very strong within you. Like, when you go through a heartbreak, like a breakup, for example, and they say that like you should keep busy because it distracts you from that heartbreak. It kind of feels like something like this, but it's something more long term. Like there is some heartbreak or some feeling of lack that has been within you. And I think it's being covered up by having a lot on your plate. Like you're staying busy so that you don't feel this emotion, or staying busy so that you don't have to face this emotion. And so it looks like your higher self wants you to slow down so that you can let these emotions bubble up and so that you can address them. So I feel like I still need a little bit more information, a little bit more details before I can fully pinpoint what is going on here. So I think I'm going to take the next 3 cards of this reading so that we can see why this is coming up for you exactly. So for your next 3 cards, here we have the Knight of Cups. Then we have the 3 of Swords. And then the 10 of Pentacles. Okay, so I definitely think this Knight of Cups is representing you. This is water sign energy here, again, in case that is relevant to you guys. So a few things about the Knight of Cups. First of all, the Knight of Cups is incredibly sweet and compassionate. So there is this instinctive part of you that wants to care for others and serve others and support others. This is a very, very beautiful quality that you guys have. Another thing about the Knight of Cups is that they are very gifted. I see this as somebody who is very talented, especially in a creative or artistic sense, and they are very spiritually gifted. I'm getting the feeling that, yes, many of you guys are very busy, but it may not be with the most fulfilling things, or it may not be with things that allow you to fully express your creative side, your spiritual side, and the gifts that you have in those areas. What I see with the Knight of Cups paired with the 3 of Swords, this is about heartbreak, sadness, disappointment. It feels like you guys have a bigger dream than whatever it is that you are filling your time with here. But the thing with this dream is that you are very emotionally invested in it. And when you're very emotionally invested in something, it has the power to break your heart, or it has the power to tear you apart, basically. What I'm trying to get at here is there's a dream that is very close to your heart, but it feels like you guys are afraid to really go for it, because if you were to fail, or if something were to fall through, it would just be too much for you to bear. That desire to go out there and do it is very much there, but there's also so much fear. And so as hard as it might be to work yourself like this and to stay so busy, it's like there's some part of you that feels this is easier, because at least your heart isn't really in it here. At least here, you're not putting your heart on the line and you're not risking being completely heartbroken and completely torn apart if there were to be like a failure or a rejection. So there's like a deep desire, a deep dream of something you want to pursue, and it feels like you guys are suppressing it. Now that I think about it with this Two of Pentacles, some of you may be giving kind of like a half attempt at it, like a half-hearted attempt, because I am thinking of the meaning of juggling different things. It could be that, you know, you still have one foot in the door of like your previous commitments and your previous job, your previous lifestyle, and then you're kind of doing what you love on the side, but not enough for it to really take off, just enough that you could say like you're giving it a shot. And I think your higher self wants you to let that emotion bubble up, that strong passion, that strong desire, that strong excitement. And yes, at the same time, that strong fear, like what if it goes wrong? Embrace all of that. The more you love something, the more you could be afraid of losing it. The more you invest your heart in something, the more your heart can break. That's just the way it is. And as long as you're trying to guard yourself from that pain and heartbreak and failure, you'll never be able to give your dreams a chance. Like they'll never see the light of day. So it's about going for it no matter what. Like, yes, everything could go wrong, but I only have this one shot, and I owe it to myself and I owe it to my dreams to go for it. Don't be afraid of feeling all the things. It's beautiful. It's part of the journey. So as much as I admire this hard work ethic and this busy schedule, in some ways it feels like playing it safe because your heart is not really there or your passion is not really there. This Ten of Pentacles, the message I feel when I look at it, it's like you can have it all. This is like complete fulfillment, complete abundance, complete prosperity. It's the number 10, so you're getting it all. And I'm kind of feeling like this all or nothing feeling when it comes to the pursuit of this dream. And your higher self is saying that they want you to give it your all. And you guys might feel this pull within you that your higher self wants you to go for it, but you're able to keep it at bay to a certain extent if you keep yourself very occupied and you keep yourself very distracted. So I think this is what we're seeing here. It's starting to take shape so far. So let's take a look at the next 3 cards, and these are going to show us how you can heal this. So how you can face this fear, how you can let this Knight of Cups come out and start to pursue your dreams. So here we have the Ace of Cups. We have, this is the Page of Wands. This card is so freaking cute. Look at it. And then we have the Sun. So there's Leo energy again. We have double Leo energy here. So I don't know if you guys are a Leo who are watching right now, or maybe there is somebody who inspires you a lot who is a Leo, or this could just be speaking to the fact that you guys are incredibly creative and talented and you are meant to shine in this lifetime. I feel like you guys are really meant to be in the spotlight and celebrated for your unique talents. Your higher self really, really wants you to put yourself out there. Now, what they're showing me with this Ace of Cups is that the first step in the right direction for you guys will be to put yourself first. The Ace of Cups, it's about love, but more specifically, it can often be about self-love and filling your own cup. Okay, so it looks like your shadow self, because I did want to see if we can become acquainted with your shadow self in this reading. And with this Ace of Cups and with all this Leo energy, your shadow self is the version of you who is selfish. And I mean selfish in a good way. You put yourself first, you take care of yourself, you prioritize yourself, and like we said, you fill your own cup. I think this is actually a shadow self that a lot of us have. And the fact that when we hear the word selfish or putting yourself first, there's often like a negative connotation to that. That just goes to show that so many of us banish the selfish side of ourselves into the shadows. We think it's wrong. We think it's shameful. We're supposed to put others first. We're supposed to serve other people. Yes, your shadow self is your selfish self. So the first part of healing for you guys is allowing yourself to be selfish and allowing yourself to be authentically you. And ironically, this is the best way that you can serve others. This is the best way that you can show up for others. Filling your own cup and loving yourself first is the best way to care for people around you. So in addition to, being afraid of going all out and putting your heart on the line to pursue this dream, what I'm also seeing now is that you may feel a little bit of guilt to walk away from the things that you are currently engaged in. Because like we saw at the beginning of this reading, I feel like with what you're doing right now, like your current activities, your current lifestyle, you are making a positive difference for many people. You're helping and serving many people. So I could kind of see you guys in this place where you want to walk away from what you're currently doing, but then there's this voice that comes in and says like, oh, but the people at work love me. Like they always talk about how much of a help I am and how much they appreciate me. And I don't know what they're gonna do. Like if I leave, maybe they will be upset with me, or maybe they'll be at a loss, they'll struggle without me. I don't want to do that. Like you feel this burden, like you have to stay there and be there for them and serve them. And your higher self is saying they'll be fine. They'll be fine. You have to prioritize yourself. Sorry, I think that was a car alarm. Anyway, maybe that was just confirmation that last message was very, very important. The people that you are taking care of right now, the people you are serving right now, they will be fine without you. And I don't mean for you to take that in a personal way, like you are not valuable, but the same way Spirit will care for you no matter what, Spirit will care for others no matter what. So if you have to move on and you have to put yourself first and put your energy elsewhere, Spirit will make sure that those people you were once serving, working for, working with, helping out in whatever ways you were, Spirit will make sure they are taken care of. And you don't have to put that burden on yourself that like, I have to do this, it has to be me. Spirit will find a way to make sure that everybody is happy and taken care of in the way that they need to be taken care of. And it's beautiful to serve other people. It's beautiful to be there for other people. But when it comes at the expense of your own fulfillment, that's when you need to take a step back. You are the most important person in your life, and you need to fill your own cup. And if you feel like you want to walk away from something and choose a new path, and your reasons are like, oh, but the other people, oh, but I need to do this for the other people, your higher self is saying that's not a good enough reason. You need to put yourself first. And what else did I want to say? Oh yes, I also wanted to say that if you follow this Knight of Cups path, if you honor your creative and spiritual gifts and you pursue these passions, you're still going to help a ton of people. You're still going to be there and make a positive impact in so many people's lives. Either way, you're going to positively impact so many people. So why not choose the path where you yourself feel happy and healthy and fulfilled and at peace? There's no reason in any scenario that anybody needs to suffer. The others will not suffer if you remove yourself, and you will not suffer because you'll be doing something that you genuinely want to do and that you genuinely love, and you'll be helping new people in the process. So just know that everybody will be taken care of. You don't have to put that burden on yourself of figuring out what will happen to the other people or to the organization, the community you were in. that shouldn't be on you. Your higher self is saying that is not your responsibility. You are your only responsibility. So being selfish and putting yourself first, that is your shadow self that wants to come out. That is the version of yourself that I think you guys have been banishing. Like, you have felt that it is wrong to be selfish. You felt that it's wrong to do what you truly want. And with all of this messages of you guys being meant to be in the spotlight, maybe another shadow self that wants to come out is the version of you who is very proud of yourself and likes to show off and likes to be the center of attention. There's nothing wrong with that, but there could be a part of you who has banished that as well. It's wrong to want attention. It's wrong to be in the spotlight. It's wrong to be proud and to show off. You might see that as bragging, or like you're an attention hog. And if somebody has made you feel that way, it could have been like jealousy of your talents. They felt uncomfortable with you being in the spotlight. Or it could just be what you've seen from society, because we're always bashing people. Like, oh, they just want attention. They're an attention hog. They just want clout or whatever it is. We demonize that. So the shadow selves that you guys have, you're definitely not alone. I feel like anybody could choose this pile and get a message from it that, like, you should start being okay with being selfish and being proud and putting yourself out there. It's a natural desire to want to stand out and be recognized for your talents, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And you don't have to be the nail that gets hammered down. You guys should stand proudly and shine like the sun. And again, I'm sorry if anybody has knocked you down or dismissed your talents or made you feel like you were just showing off. I'm sorry, that sucks. I want you guys to really shine like the sun here. Okay, so wow, and I haven't even addressed these yet. So yes, the first step is filling your own cup, being okay with filling your own cup first. Then next we have the Page of Wands, which I'm so obsessed with this card. He's just so cute. Look at how cute he is. The Page of Wands represents a new creative endeavor, a new creative project. Definitely my number 4s with the Page of Wands, the Knight of Cups, and this Leo energy. I feel like you guys are definitely creative souls. You are the artists, you are the creators. You're meant to make things that are an extension of you and show off your talents. And that's exactly what this Page of Wands represents, embarking on a new creative journey. There's independence in the Page of Wands as well. So maybe you will be doing this independently. And this is in the section of how to heal. So it kind of looks like for you guys, it's just doing it. It's just going for it. Meaning that you will be uncomfortable at first. If I'm being honest, I think that it will be quite uncomfortable. But what I'm seeing here is that rather than, okay, this is the situation I'm in, I'm going to become okay with putting myself first and then I'm going to pursue my dreams. It's more like I'm going to just go for it and pursue my dreams, even though I'm scared, even though I feel like shit and I feel guilty for moving on. I'm just going to do it. And it's going to be uncomfortable at first, but it's through doing it that you will learn. There is no other way than to put yourself first. So for you guys, this is like a hands-on healing. I think this is a dive into it before it makes sense kind of healing. The camera timer just went to 22:22, so that is definitely a confirmation for me. And I'm remembering how the car alarm went off when I was talking, how much about you guys just need to go for it and put yourself first. And with all this fiery energy, this is very action-oriented, kind of like a do first and think later thing. It's gonna be uncomfortable for you guys. And I don't think this is like I'm gonna figure it out and do all my healing and then go for it. Your healing is outside of your comfort zone. Your learning is outside of your comfort zone. So the key for you guys is to start this new endeavor, is to start this new creative project, to go for it, go after the life you really want to live. And that's how you will find your self-love. That's how you will become comfortable with putting yourself first. See how he's walking towards it? He can only come to this Ace of Cups if he starts walking, if he embarks on his journey. And then we have the Sun, which is, and I'm quoting this directly from the Angel Tarot cards, which I always do, brilliant new ideas that lead to success. So yes, I know you guys are scared. You're wondering if you'll make it, if you pursue this project with your gifts. You will be successful. The Sun is a confirmation that you will absolutely be successful, that you will see the light at the end of the tunnel. And yes, you are putting your heart on the line with something so dear to you, and that could really hurt if it doesn't work out. And there may be some bumps in the road along the way, like there always are. There may be some moments of sadness, but I promise you in the end, you will make it and you will be successful. So how to heal is to go for it. Put your hat on, walk towards this Ace of Cups, and the sun will rise. You will see the light at the end. You will be successful. You will be celebrated. All right, so we're gonna look at the final 3 cards now, and this is going to show us in what ways your life will change once this healing has taken place. Ooh, so to start off, we have the 9 of Pentacles. I love to see this. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles. So you guys, there are a ton of abundance messages for you, a ton. You have the 10 of Pentacles, the 9 of Pentacles, and the 1. The Ace, I mean, sorry. And then we have the 8 of Wands. This is so exciting. All right, so first of all, the 9 of Pentacles is a very straightforward message showing success in your career, showing abundance that is coming to you. This is such a huge confirmation that you guys will be successful if you are to just go for it. The same way I saw a message of independence with the Page of Wands, there is also that message in the 9 of Pentacles, because it indicates like a single person or a self-employed person. There is that feeling of you're doing it on your own, you're your own boss, you're making it by yourself. So maybe many of you have dreamed of being self-employed, or you have dreamed even of freeing yourself from certain agreements, certain connections from the past, so that you can really be free and on your own. Some of you guys, I'm just realizing you may be leaving a toxic relationship behind. Oh yeah, because I'm thinking back of how there may be some guilt associated with you leaving. It could be that somebody has made you to feel guilty about leaving, whether it's a toxic work relationship where, I don't know, like your boss is saying you're not going to find a better job, there's nothing better out there, or like we really, really need you here. We're going to, be, what's the word? We're going to be like in a bad place if you leave. Or even a personal relationship. If you want to go off, maybe you want to fly to a new place and pursue a new dream, and someone is making you feel guilty about that. Anyway, there could be a message for some of you in here about leaving behind a toxic connection like that, and now you are free and independent. You're free to do whatever you want. Anyway, sorry, I feel like that was a little bit of a tangent, but basically here, you're free and you're making it on your own, and you are very, very successful. There's also a message in the 9 of Pentacles about you being very appreciated. So it goes back to what we were saying before. Like, yes, with what you're currently doing, you are positively impacting and helping many people, but there is a way for you to do this where you are also taken care of and you are also happy. And I'm seeing that confirmed here. You're going to be helping so many people, and so many people will be grateful and appreciative for what you're doing. You might actually get a lot of messages or just sentiments from people who say like, thank you so much for doing what you do. Thank you so much for doing the work that you do, and going through what you needed to go through so that you can get here. And that will be like the greatest feeling for you guys. With this Leo spirit here, I know there's a part of you guys that wants that recognition and wants that attention and wants to be praised and complimented and in the spotlight, like being showered with praise. And that's okay. That's wonderful. Don't feel like that is bad or that means you are selfish or anything. Let your sun shine. I feel like your shadow self is a Leo at least. Okay, and then moving on to the Ace of Pentacles. This is a new opportunity, a new source of abundance, a new successful career. So there's definitely a new beginning happening here. And with the Eight of Wands, this is things progressing very quickly, things manifesting very, very quickly. So I have a feeling that once you guys embark on this new journey, things are going to be snowballing. That's the word. Oh, I'm starting to get a little bit burpy. Yeah, okay. I'm getting very excited. Your spirit guides are getting very excited. This is like divine intervention. This is almost giving me like Wheel of Fortune vibes, where you take the first step and then all of a sudden, like bam, everything manifests into your lap so quickly. Yes, there is great success waiting for you on the other side. And this success includes material abundance. It includes emotional fulfillment. It includes praise, recognition, appreciation from others. And you, in turn, get to serve and help and uplift others. And you are totally backed by the universe. The universe is going to be so excited when you make this move, and it's going to fly in so quickly to bring you these blessings. I think that it could be within a year, like from when you start this endeavor to a year later, everything will be so different. It could even be 11 months because we have this 11 on the strength card. Basically less than a year. Basically very, very fast is what I'm seeing here. All right, so just before we finish off this reading, I want to shuffle and get a few cards from the Soul Whispers Oracle deck, and these are going to be the loving and encouraging messages from your higher self. I will try to take 2, but if more fall out, then more fall out, and we're going to take all of them because I don't want to limit your higher self at all in what they would like to convey to you. What would your higher self like you to know? So we have 1. And okay, so you guys did get 2. So we'll take a look at these one by one, and then I am going to read these from the guidebook as well, because there are nice little letters from your higher self that I really like. So let's get into the first one. Ooh, and we have the number 22 here, and that was the same number that I saw for confirmation before. And oh my gosh, I cannot, oh yes, sorry. I do remember what the 22 was confirming. It was to go for it first, and you will find your healing on the other side. And this card says, dissolve your ego by going within. So let's take a look at the guidebook and see what your letter is from your higher self. Dear human, the voice inside your head isn't always right. Your ego can limit you, tell you lies, and keep you in a state of fear. It can make you depend on external validation and make you obsessed with control. To differentiate between your ego and your heart, remember, being in alignment with your true self means acting from love, not ego-driven fear. This, to me, I think resonates with the rest of the reading, because a lot of what we were talking about before, like your reasons for staying where you are and continuing to do what you do, I think a lot of it has to do with fear. Like, what if this new plan doesn't work out? Or what if people are at a loss if I stop helping them in the way that I have, or if I stop giving them my time in the way that I have? It's driven by guilt, it's driven by fear. And I was really drawn to this phrase of the voice inside your head isn't always right. And often the voices in our head that are the most like persistent and aggressive, it's usually our ego. It's usually the voice of fear. The voice of our intuition is very soft and loving, but it can often get smothered by the voice of our ego. So it's very important to quiet our mind. This card may be encouraging meditation for you guys. It is definitely encouraging going within. The number 2 is about our feminine side, our soft side, our intuitive side, the side of us that is quiet and receptive. And that's exactly what I feared with this top row of cards here, that you're trying to avoid by keeping busy, trying to avoid going within and hearing the true voice of your intuition. So it looks like this card is encouraging you guys to quiet down, take some time off, meditate if you feel called to do that, and look within, because you won't hear what your intuition is truly saying if you're always like on the go and running around, and it's constantly being smothered by the voices of fear and guilt and your ego. And the next card, look, you have 22 and then you have 33. So 33 might be another important number for you guys, and it says, promise to love yourself fully. So let's go to number 33. Dear human, what will it take for you to accept and love yourself fully? A powerful intention, a promise to do so, is sometimes just enough. Put this card on your heart and promise to love yourself through thick and thin, to the eternity and back. For in this lifetime, at the end of the day, you only have yourself. You can't be anyone else, so don't waste time and energy battling your own self. You don't have to do anything that is against your authentic self in order to serve others, in order to make others happy. I feel like your higher self wants you to find your niche where you're doing exactly what you love, exactly what you're gifted at, and that's exactly what people need from you. That's how you can make the biggest difference. I don't know if you guys have Leo placements, but I keep going back to that energy here. It's really, really strong. Maybe your higher self wants you to embody this Leo energy more. Again, like if there's a person in your life who inspires you, or a friend in your life who is a Leo, to soak up in their energy. There could also be a message for you guys to work on activating your sacral chakra and your solar plexus chakra. This is going to open up your creativity. This is going to open up your desire, like your personal desire, and the desire to express yourself and to enjoy life and to assert yourself and to feel that you deserve to act on these desires and you deserve to express yourself in the way you want to. So yes, sacral chakra and solar plexus chakra I think are very important. You may want to work on the root chakra as well while you're at it, like all the lower chakras in general, but this is what I feel is important for you guys. I'm also just thinking of like the bright orange and yellow colors of the sun, which matches with those chakras. You also may want to literally get out and bathe in the sunlight and absorb that life force. Now that I think about it, of course this reading is timeless, but at the time that this is uploaded, it will be Leo season. So maybe this season is very significant for you guys. And now is a time, what is it? Now is as good a time as any to go for it. Okay, so these are all the messages that I have for you guys. So I'm gonna end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick-a-cards where you get to choose the topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.